How can I adopt my relative's baby? The short answer: apply to the Children's Court for an adoption order. There will be checks to make sure you will be a fit parent. The whole question: what the process is to adopt my sister-in-law's expected baby. My sister-in-law has 3 children, who she is finding very difficult to maintain, and wants to give me this 4th child, as I have no children of my own. The long answer: it sounds like an excellent idea. The Department of Social Development, DSD, which is the government department responsible for adoptions, is in favor of keeping families together, and birth parents are allowed to say who they would like to adopt their child. So, you should not find it difficult to satisfy them that you should be granted the adoption. Adoptions take place under the Children's Act of 2005, and the main idea is that the adoption should be in the best interests of the child. For a start, the baby's birth must be registered by its parents within 30 days of the birth. The Children's Court is the court that handles adoptions. You must apply to the Children's Court, which can be any magistrate's court, for an adoption order. The sheriff of the Children's Court must serve a notice on each birth parent to ask for their written consent to the adoption. To succeed in applying for the adoption order, you must be interviewed by a social worker, who will give a report to the Children's Court. You can ask the DSD for a social worker, or you can employ a private social worker. The social worker will do a very thorough check of your background, your health and lifestyle, your income and expenditure, and whether they think you will provide a good home for the child. The social worker will do a psychological evaluation of you and visit your home. You will also need to obtain a police clearance certificate, and you will need to be checked against the Sexual Offenses Register and get a Form 30 clearance. The social worker will compile a report that says if the adoption is in the best interest of the child. It will also contain medical information about the child. This report will be sent to the Children's Court. The adoption must then be approved by the Department of Social Development in the province, which issues a 239D letter to confirm the adoption. Then the file, which must also contain the consent forms of the birth parents, is sent to a magistrate in the Children's Court, together with the social worker's report, to see if the adoption should be approved. If the court is satisfied that the adoption is in the child's best interest, an adoption order will be granted. This order may take several months to come through. The adoption order changes the surname of the child and declares that the child is now legally the adoptive parent's child, as if born to them. You must then submit a certified copy of the adoption order to Home Affairs, DHA, to be registered. Home Affairs can take anything up to a year to register the adoption. Letter of Good Cause in South Africa. Q. What is a letter of good cause? A letter of good cause is a document that provides a compelling reason for why a non-South African should be granted a specific request from the Department of Home Affairs when their visa has expired. It explains any extenuating circumstances affecting the applicant's ability to comply with immigration requirements, like an expired visa. It's a chance to provide additional information supporting a late visa application. Q. Why is a letter of good cause important? A. If your visa has expired, submitting a letter of good cause when applying for a new visa or an extension is crucial. This letter explains why your visa expired and shows that you didn't intend to overstay or violate visa terms. Q. When might you need a letter of good cause? A's common situations include unexpected events, natural disasters, family emergencies, or illness impacting visa renewal, overstayed visa, explaining an overstay due to extenuating circumstances, financial difficulties, explaining delays due to financial issues. If your overstay is due to negligence, you may be declared undesirable. Check here for penalties. Q. What are the eligibility criteria? A. 1. Not ordered to depart or arrested in South Africa. 2. Unable to submit the application within the specified time frame. 3. Now able to apply at the time of your request. How do you write the perfect letter of good cause? A. Follow these tips. 1. Identify the purpose. Clearly state why you are writing. 2. Explain the circumstances. Detail the extenuating circumstances. 3. Provide evidence. Include relevant supporting documentation. 4. Be honest. Truthfully describe your situation. 5. Demonstrate commitment. Show your commitment to complying with visa terms. 6. Keep it professional. Use a professional tone and format. 7. Provide contact information. Include your full name, Address and contact details. Q. How do you apply for a letter of good cause? A. 1. Approach an inspectorate at any Home Affairs office. 2. Have your proof and written motivation ready for the interview. 3. The immigration officer will issue a notice to verify your documents. 4. The report is sent to the District Manager of Operations Director. 5. If approved, you get an application for Form 20 to take to VFS with your visa application. 6. If denied, you may face prosecution or deportation. Q. What are common mistakes to avoid? A. Lack of detail. Provide sufficient information and fully explain your circumstances. Inconsistent information. Ensure consistency across all documents. Inadequate documentation. Provide all necessary supporting documents. Neglecting to follow up. Regularly check the status of your application.